Hello everybody, welcome to the channel if you're new here, welcome back if you are not. It's Baby Jesus back with another gold making guide, and today we're going to be touching on something that's a little unorthodox. I haven't seen too many people doing it, but you can make an absolute killing gathering herbs. That's what we're going to be looking at today, and I will be showing you guys a couple good spots to find them. Excuse me. The fun part about herbs, or the less fun part rather, is that they don't show up on your compass. So we are going to be starting right here just southeast of Windsward. A rule of thumb, if you're trying to look for herbs and you're looking at a place that seems to have a lot of people gathering them, go to any of the starting areas close to where you spawn when you first start into the game, and for some reason those have an exceptionally high spawn rate of herbs. Another spot that I've managed to find as well is up by this lake here in Ebonscale. Just do note that if you are not a high enough level, which I am not, and I had to kite around a lot of very scary mobs, you will die. But there is a ridiculous concentration of herbs up in this area. But for this video, I'm going to be showing you guys where you guys can gather them southeast of Windsward. And it's a very simple route, nothing too complicated about it. You guys can see the herbs right in front of me. You guys can also see that it's not on the mini-map, or the compass rather. What's nice about gathering these is that we're not just gathering one item. So we're going to be killing everything inside. We're going to be killing all these boars for the rawhides. We're going to be gathering the herbs, which are going to give you, the Hyssop, as well as potentially ginger, thyme, mint. You can get a slew of different herbs that go with it. So unlike a lot of other gathering guides or gold guides that we've gone over, you're not focused on one resource. So if that resource tanks, say for example, you're gathering rawhides and that tanks from, 30 cents to 15 cents, well, you've effectively lost half of your profits for that hour of gathering, 10 minutes of gathering, whatever gathering you've done. But this, you're hedging your bet by covering a bunch of different resources. So again, we are starting in this area here. We're just going to stay in here. There are some herbs that spawn over down here and in this area, but for the most part, it's not worth getting out there. There's only a couple of spawn points, and there's more than enough to do just staying around here. So I do like to start near this big guy. You guys, he's one of the first named mobs in the game, Eber the Grim. You can just kill him. He will attack if you get too close. He does a charge attack, or you can just dodge out of the way, or if you're me, just get absolutely smacked by him. And you can start by skinning him if the game lets you. There we go. Again, it's a bit different that you're going to be gathering absolutely everything. So we did start with a couple of pork already. So we'll have to take that in mind. I think I started with 68 of them. So you're going to start here, and then you're just going to come up into this little alcove up here. There's going to be a ton of boars. Again, you want to kill them all as you walk by them. Don't try and walk too far out of your way to get them. You're going to kill him. And again, you want to be doing this. This is one of the only routes where you're not trying to ignore things around you. A bit annoying is that you can't actually kite them around because they're so easy to kill that you will most likely one-shot them. So again, you come up in this little area here. You're going to have a bunch more spawns of herbs. You just want to gather those. Again, you guys can see we're getting, 3 to 4 Hyssop per. We're getting a couple ginger every time, or 1 ginger that time. You can get anything from thyme, mint, any of the things that can be gathered from herbs. It's a random drop. Now, sometimes you can also get lucky and see there we got animal viscera from the pork, or from the boar. Those sell for, 6 or 7 a piece. Now, it's not a complicated route. You guys can see I did just come up here. I'm gathering all from this side, and we're just going to be looping around. Herbs have a very short respawn time. The small bushes respawn in about 10 minutes, medium ones in about 13, and the larger ones can take up to 20. But for the most part, you'll always be able to gather something whilst you're running around. Again, kill the boars if I could hit my shots. Now, due to this being a starter area, you're not really going to have any difficulty, getting attacked by the mobs or fighting off any really high level players if you have PvP on, for example. Most people just sort of come in and get the heck out of Dodge and don't really come back, which means that it's not a very populated area, which means you should have no competition gathering. Now, what that means is you should be able to gather a buttload of resources. Now, when I mean that, look at this patch that spawns here every time. You don't even have to move, and you can gather a ton of herbs. In my tests, I've run it a couple of times to see what my averages were. I averaged roughly 400 Hyssop every 10 minutes. 12 to 13 mint, 12 to 13 thyme, 18 to 20 ginger, around 300 rawhides. Obviously, that can vary a lot depending if you're killing all of them or running by them. About 40 to 50 pork, as well as 2 animal viscera, but that one is very random. You never really know. It's a pretty low drop rate. As well as there are some berries here that you will be able to see on your compass, so you make sure to pick those up because those sell for a good amount. Now, that averaged out over the hour comes out to about 2,400 to 2,500 Hyssop, 70 mint, 70 thyme, 100 ginger, give or take. I'm rounding, obviously. About 250 pork, 12 to 15 viscera if you get lucky with those drop rates. And, you know, the berries, it really depends on if the bundles are respawning frequently enough, because they are sort of random. But again, all of this can come out to easily, you can easily be gathering the 1,500 range gold at the low end, all the way up to 25 to 3,000 gold per hour. And I say that big range because for some reason on my server, Hyssop is super volatile. And what I mean by that is when I first ran this test to see if it was valid or even worth doing for you guys, Hyssop was selling for 15 cents a unit. And it sold like cake. It sold, you know, a couple of minutes maybe. I think it was 15 to 20 minutes, and all of it sold. I was like, oh, sweet. You know, that's decent. That's like 500 gold for the amount that I was getting in 10 minutes. Or 400 gold, rather. And I went to go look again, and all of a sudden it was selling for 28 cents. So almost doubled in price. And I was like, okay. All of a sudden this is a lot more viable. I'm making 600 gold every 10 minutes, which is, or every hour, pardon me, which is pretty insane. And then I went to look this morning when I wanted to go take a look and see if this was still viable, or if, you know, if it was a big influx or a spike or a drop in cost. And Hyssop is selling for 80 cents on the dollar, or 80 cents per unit, which means that all of a sudden you went from making $300 gold per hour just on the Hyssop to making almost 2,000 gold per hour. Now, obviously, this is going to vary a ton based on your servers. You guys can see we're just here. We started here, ran around this way. That's going to vary a ton based on your server, but that is an insane amount of money. That's not even counting any of your other herbs. You know, like, for example, just going on the averages that we were talking about with mint and thyme and ginger and whatnot, you know, that's 80 gold worth of mint if it's selling for what I have, which is $1.15 on the market. You know, you have 100 gold worth of thyme if it's selling for $1.50, which it was selling. Ginger is selling for $2 to $3 a unit, and you know, you're gathering a good amount. You're gathering over 100 of them per hour. And then your rawhides, obviously, those are pretty stagnant at around 20 to 30 cents per. So again, the more you gather those, the more steady it's going to be. But the nice thing about it is, even with all of this volatility, and you know, obviously the Hyssop being the most volatile of them all, you don't really have to worry about losing too much money, because your bet is hedged. You have so many different resources coming out of this run that you're virtually untouchable by this volatility, because even if one drops, the other ones are probably going to go up, because they cover a bunch of different skills, so different trades. You know, your rawhides are going to be covered by your workshop, your armor making, etc. Your Hyssop is going to be arcana and cooking. Your herbs are going to be arcana and cooking. So you're really covering all of your bases here, and making sure that even if one item drops, you are not going to lose a ton of your gold per hour. But again, you guys can see here, we did start with nothing. We're now at 236 Hyssop. We've gone around once. By the time we get back, we're going to have some more spawning. And you guys can see here, this is one of the berry bush spawns. We're going to look this up right here. That's your berry bush spawn right there. There's a couple of them. These sell for $2 a piece on my server. So make sure you don't miss these, because you can make an absolute killing with them. So we're just going to keep walking, keep looking around. We're going to kill this boar. We have time to kill right on our way back. Why not? May as well make money whilst we are walking. Now again, you guys can see that watchtower in the background. That is literally the starting point for Windsward. So everybody, or virtually everybody, should have this unlocked. Now we may be competing with somebody over there. I may have spoken too soon. But for the most part, you guys can see that was virtually uncontested. We ran around and did whatever we pleased, and gathered as much as we so chose to. We're going to kill this boar. Oh, if I can hit my shots. If I can... Hello? Okay. And that's that. As you get back here, you guys are going to see things are going to start to respawn. On that hill has a pretty high spawn rate. Again, we're going to just run along this cliff face here and just make sure that we aren't missing any as they come up. Now, you can absolutely run up around these cliffs. There are just boulders more than anything else, honestly. And in doing so, you could probably find a couple more bundles. But as long as you're killing boar and skinning them on your way through, you're not going to be losing too much gold per hour. Your efficiency is not going to drop. You're still going to have a ridiculous gather rate, and you shouldn't have to worry about too much. Oh, I said that again too early. We have another person there, level 60 actually, of all people. Oh, can't get over. Don't know why I went around that way. We have another berry bush right here. Almost missed it. Thankfully, it shows up on the compass, unlike the herbs, which do not. So we're just going to run up, and we're going to double check to see if our herbs have spawned again. You might have gathered them. No, they're back. So you guys can see it's virtually non-stop. And if these guys want to attack you and bring themselves on top of each other, you let them damn well do it. So you guys can see, in not a lot of time, we've gathered a ton of resources. You know, you have 500 rawhide, which again, if you're farming rawhide, is not that much. But if you're getting it in conjunction with all of these other resources, you can make an absolute fortune. So you guys can see 250 Hyssop, a little bit lower than usual, but that all depends on your gear. I don't think I have any of my charms or luck on right now for additional gathering. But again, we got another couple viscera. We got lucky with the drops this time. That's about it, guys. You guys can gather the hemp there too. Again, you want to try and gather everything to make this as efficient as possible and have no downtime. So this is the area right here. You can do this in virtually any starting area. Remember that the rule of thumb is the starting area is going to be the best for high density of herbs, but you can find them scattered everywhere throughout the world. Just remember, they don't show up on your compass. So if you were looking for them on your compass, you will be sorely disappointed and you will most likely miss them. So we're just going to skin that, and then we are going to teleport back to the settlement. I'm just going to do this, and I will show you guys the markets. Again, guys, it's nothing fancy. It's nothing out there. You don't have to work hard at it. Anybody can do this because it's a starting area. There's not a lot of competition, but not only that, there's no level cap. You're not going to get stomped by these mobs because they're level 3s, level 2s. You're not going to have any issues with it. So once you get back into town, I can show you guys what this stuff is all selling for. Remember, we're getting pork, rawhide, Hyssop, mint, ginger, thyme, fibers from the hemp spawns as well, animal viscera. You guys can see, if I look up Hyssop right now, it's selling for 80 cents per unit. Now, if you guys want to do some quick math, that's a lot. Just pulling that up right there. In 10 minutes, we gathered 243. That's 2,000 gold. Oh, no, my bad. Math is hard. That's 200 gold. Pardon me. Math is hard. Multiply by 6, you're getting 1,200 gold just from the Hyssop. Right? Even if you want to sell it at 15 cents, there's buy orders for that. So you don't have to worry about, you know, it's sitting on the market. Mint, we can go take a look. It's selling at $1 a unit. That's another 7 gold. Multiply it by 6, right? You're getting a ton of resources here, and you're hedged your bet. If one drops, another will go up. See, this one up 8 cents, whereas the other one for mint had actually dropped by, I think, 5 cents. So we're still actually coming out ahead. And then ginger, I think, is selling for around $2 a piece right now, $2.25. So you guys can see this is a ton of money. You're making, you know, 250, 300 gold minimum every 10 minutes, right? Keep that in mind, that take advantage of it now. People are starting to get to late game, so there's a lot of crafting that's happening that wasn't necessarily happening beforehand. But you guys can see all of this was from that little area, from one route around effectively. And we haven't even talked about the pork. I don't know what pork sells for right now. Pork is selling for 20 cents on the dollar as well, or 20 cents per unit. And we started with 70, I think. So we still gathered another 140 of them. Nothing to shake a stick at. That's going to be it for this one, guys. We can't forget about the animal viscera. I can't talk. I can't spell. You guys see how this is selling for $4 a piece. That's going to be it for this one, guys. You guys can see that is a ton of money. All in, you're making about, I would say, no less than 1,500 gold per hour doing this. And depending on your server, you could be capping out at well over 3,000 gold per hour for very, very little work. It's not time intensive. It's not, you know, macro intensive. You don't have to be min-maxing anything. You just gather everything in sight that's around you, and you just loop around it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to let me know in the comments. Let me know what you'd like to see in the future. I'll keep making these guides to try and help you guys make as much money as you possibly can. We've managed to get ourselves back up to 25k after having bought our 2 houses. First one being the second tier, third tier, the middle one, I think the $15,000 one, and then having bought the largest house as well. So we're back up to 25k. Hopefully you guys can do the same with these guides. I will catch you guys in the next one, and have yourselves an amazing day. Take care.